Hi, I'm Noel Bentley, and I'm the host of TEDxBearCreekPark. And today we're lucky to have with us Manuel, who is one of our 12 speakers. Hi, how you doing today, Di?
Rock and roll. No, I'm doing great. It's good to see you, Noel.
Good to see you too. This is how he is all the time. Yes, Di's good, as we said, one of our 12 speakers for TEDxBearCreekPark that we're broadcasting on Saturday, March 27th. And I have it as a health advocate, father, and the man who won't be labeled, which I think is an apt description for you.
Oh, that is so on point. You don't even know.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. That's great. That's going on my business card now.
But it's important that you go ahead and tell people more about you. Who are you? What's important to you right now? What are you working on? Just give them an idea.
uh, you know, Life for me has changed a lot in the last 6 years. I left a career of 17 years as a co-founder of an existing company that was predominantly in retail in the fitness space. And I really enjoyed what I learned in that experience. And, it provided for my family and I in a wonderful way. But, like a lot of us, sometimes we just feel like we're meant to do something else. And rather than ignoring that itch, which kept getting bigger and bigger, I decided to ditch it and quit my career. And my wife quit hers. And a few months after that, we pulled the kids out of school and we started traveling as a full-time family, which is a big shift from where I was. And those 6 years, we're now back in Vancouver. So our kids could finish high school here. But over those 5 years of traveling, man, my perspective shifted a lot. As I've also been trying to discover new ways of showing up for people and chasing some of those other passions and visions that both my wife and family had, but also some of the ones I had for myself. So really these last 6 years have been just a journey of discovery.
Great. Well, absolutely. And in terms of discovery, how about you tell people what you're going to tell them without too many spoilers? Why should people come see Manuel and his TEDx talk?
Well, I talk about a big shift in my life, and I know that's not unique. I mean, we all go through these periods in our lives. We're all on a hero's journey, if you will. It's been coined quite often, and we go on these epic journeys, and we meet people that influence us positively, sometimes not so positively, but we learn, we grow, we continue to progress, and we often overcome big challenges along the way. Well, I'm one of those individuals who overcame quite a few challenges, especially just over 11 years ago. And that challenge that I ran up against, it truly was one of those moments where I felt I was on rock bottom. And in fact, I probably think I was below the rock, actually. And things changed, and they changed pretty quickly in a good way, which was sort of that first domino, which led to eventually me wanting to leave a career that was quite stable to lean into things that I was more passionate about. A whole lot of unknowns there. And I know I'm not getting into super specifics, but I will share that story and some of the impact, but also more specifically, what it created for me after the fact, and how it's allowed me to serve a growing community of men around the world in a real positive way that makes a big impact, not just for me, but for them and their families and their communities, their countries. And it's been that little thing in me to want to share this idea for quite a while. And I just feel really fortunate to have the opportunity to do it on a TEDx stage alongside you and so many other amazing speakers.
Right. And I mean, you're a gentleman who you have your paws in a lot of different things. But it's that four-letter word that's busy now. So why do a TED Talk? Why take the time and invest, your mental and quite frankly, physical resources into putting this on stage?
Well, a little funny backstory here. You remember the movie Jerry Maguire? Remember that movie? Yeah, Jerry Maguire, Tom Cruise, right? And was it Renee Zellweger? But Tom Cruise's character, he's a sports agent, and he writes this manifesto at the beginning of the movie, and how he sees his industry, the sports agents industry, needing to change. And more than that, he talked about his personal influence in that and the professional influence, but he really put his heart and soul into this document. And then he shares it with his workspace and with the people that he believes are important in his life, and nothing, nothing. And there's that beautiful scene of him leaving. Who's coming with me? And his personal assistant's the only one that goes with him. And well, I had a period where I wrote a manifesto, my own personal manifesto. This would be 7.5 years ago. And in it, I thought about the industry I was working in, which was predominantly the fitness and wellness industry, and things that I wanted to see change, but things in my own personal life that I wanted to aspire to accomplish. So think about it like a vision board, but in a document format. And it was pages, like 8-9 pages. And I really put a lot of thought into it. And I was like, wow, I'm proud of this. And I remember sharing it with some people at the time and didn't quite get the response that I thought I would. In fact, I didn't get any responses. I kind of felt like Jerry Maguire. And, but the want was so big in me that I didn't care. This is what I wanted. But one of the things that I had on there, Noel, was I wanted to do a TEDx talk. Like that was one of the things I knew eventually in my life. I wanted to share that stage with people that are doing amazing things, because TEDx talks and TED talks, just that whole forum has done lots for me in my life. A ton. Like I remember Simon Sinek's talk as an example. Like I must have watched that 100 times. You know, it was so influential in my life. When that first came out, it turned me on to a lot of his teachings, which influenced how I did work, how I did life. And I was like, that was just one talk of what's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of different talks. And I was always so inspired by it. So just to think that, hey, I know I've got something to share. I know I have some value I'd like to impart into other people's lives. What better platform to do it? The TED stage. So I'm honored to finally be in a place where I'm going to be long enough to embrace the process itself, because I got to tell you, this whole process over the last 6 months, quite an eye opener. And I'm so just enamored with it, because it's a lot of moving pieces, as you know, being the host and being the guy in the background, also helping with a lot of the coordination. My goodness, what a project, you know? And so, yeah, that's why I'm so excited about this.
Well, I mean, you've alluded to it or started talking about it. You know, often people think, oh, you know, someone who's a good speaker and they apply to do a TED talk, they get accepted, and they just go up and give their talk. And that's not the case. But I'm wondering about you going through the process personally. Have you discovered anything about yourself or your speaking or your idea or whatever that you just had no idea that was going to happen?
Well, yeah. You know, I remember the initial story that I alluded to, which everyone will soon be hearing. My original draft, like, you know, when we start sharing personal stories and anecdotes and those moments in our lives that have been so deeply moving, not only for ourselves, but for those closely involved in those moments, to distill it down into something that can be delivered in a succinct format that allows the audience to not only experience it, but be there and feel the similar impact. I always believe that that's something I'm going to need an hour, 2 hours, but going through this process, working with the coaches, working with a lot of the other team members and other speakers to refine the message and constantly refine to distill it down to the point now where my talk comes in under 10 minutes. At the beginning of this, I thought there's no way in hell it's going to happen. And to say it now and where it is, and now I feel more connected with the shorter version than I was with the longer version, which I thought wasn't going to be possible. So that was the biggest thing that I learned, that less is more. And I truly believe it now. So that's been the biggest thing I've learned so far.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because in the time that we've spoken already today, you'd be saying thank you.
Yeah, that's right. No, you're right. Yeah, I'm done.
There we go.
Peace.
Yeah.
See ya.
So I'm going to give you the chance to give one more succinct thing. If you, in those 15 seconds, if you could, why should people come see Manuel?
Well, you know what? Conversations are where a lot of things begin. A lot of great ideas start. Shifts in us personally, but also from a communal standpoint, start to happen through conversations. And I know the thing that I'll be sharing most there, I hope it leaves people feeling inspired, but also ready to engage in a conversation that is so much bigger than any one person. And all the men out there, I'm speaking to you especially right now. But you're going to have to show up to really figure out what that's going to be. But I can leave you with that. It's going to create some conversation. And it's a conversation we all want to be having.
Perfect. Appreciate that, Di. So again, Di Manuel, one of our 12 TEDx Bear Creek Park speakers. You'll be able to hear them on the broadcast. It's Saturday, March 27th. And this year, we are thankful to our generous sponsors, which means we can do this. And your link, when you go to TEDx Bear Creek Park and click on that link to get your access to it, it's complimentary. So we will hope to see you there on that day. And thanks again, Di, for being part of this.
Thank you so much, Noel. Can't wait. See you soon.